Hello and welcome to Spastic Nerd Reviews, the movie review podcast that has absolutely no tagline because we haven't thought much about this. My name is Jacob Baines, and I am joined by Michael McMahon.
Hello.
And Zach Williams.
Hello there.
This is actually Zach's channel, Royale with Cheese, because Black Gold 25 and Shadow Knight 805, now known as Jacob Baines, are completely terrible channels with no quality content on them at all.
Absolutely awful.
Absolutely awful sketch comedy content and whatever the hell, Michael.
And Let's Plays and read-overs of erotica. Yeah, just don't do it.
Yeah, so if you're wondering why I'm not hosting this, it's because I've never done a show. So this is my first for podcast.
And we're on our way to being mediocre at best. So today we are reviewing a movie that we have all totally watched called Pulp Fiction. It is a movie by Quentin Tarantino that is considered one of his best works aside from the Kill Bill movies, which one of us on this podcast hates.
Yes.
I never said I hated it. I said I haven't watched it in a while. In my first watching, I wasn't too impressed by it. But you know what? Times change.
Yes.
So can too.
It is a very iconic cult classic and now officially old enough to drink in the United States. So I think it's fair enough that we talk about it.
It's also good enough to reference, which we did.
It is. In fact, it is the movie that has given us the channel name for Zach, and I am totally angry that I didn't steal it for myself.
Well, I mean, to be fair, they didn't invent it. McDonald's invented it.
That's fair.
The French McDonald's.
Mm-hmm.
So for anyone not in the know, for the five of you who don't know what Pulp Fiction is, it is a movie that is a homage to gang movies and non-linear storytelling and just an all-around good time with things referenced and things name-dropped and great actors such as Samuel L. Jackson and Bruce Willis.
Mm-hmm.
Before Bruce Willis sucked. So,
and John Travolta.
And John
Travolta.
Wait,
no, he's not all that great. Okay, sorry.
Oh, man, shots fired. So what we're going to do here is we are going to go through the overview, which we already have. Then we're going to review story. We're going to review construction, which is the editing, direction, cinematography, and then we'll review anything that we left out, because I did not finish the format for this show in time.
That's fine. All in time, my good friend. All
Acting
in time.
would be a good one to cover.
So we'll go one at a time. We'll give our feedback on what we thought. You're listening to Spastic Nerd Reviews, and we shall begin with reviewing the story. Mm-hmm. All right, so you'll review the story, and then Mike, and then me.
Okay. So I don't really know if this is the first movie to tackle non-linear storytelling, but I gotta say, it's not.
It is not.
Oh, okay, very well then. But I gotta say, it does a really good job because, I mean, for the most part, I think you can pretty much follow it up until you get to a point when, I believe it's after the boxing part where Bruce Willis is looking for his watch, because we go right back to Samuel L. Jackson and John Travolta. But it's really good the way they decided to pull this off, and I'm impressed by the story. I mean, it's not really there's not really a linear story going on, and it just feels like a lot of bits. And obviously, I think this movie is really all about the dialogue. I mean, not saying that it's got no story or that the story is weak or anything. The story is amazing, but I mean, whenever anyone quotes this movie, I mean, they quote something. Well, I guess quoting would be dialogue, but that's neither here nor there.
You tend to quote dialogue when you're quoting something from a movie.
Yes, I know.
And it's also a Tarantino movie, so of course it's dialogue.
Well, yes, and I mean, the man writes, just awesome dialogue, and I mean, in Hollywood, one of the things that people talk about is how bad how hard dialogue is to write, and, I think Tarantino proves that it's pretty easy.
Absolutely.
Well,
so I guess, Zach, are you done?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, Mike, go ahead.
Well, I mean, as you were saying about the non-linear storytelling, it is a very unique thing. I mean, it's not that original. I mean, if you were to ever take a creative writing class, that's often a technique they show you is, don't shoot things non-sequentially, and I think for the artistic direction of like sort of how things unfold, it sort of works. But I feel like the storytelling, it has good pacing. It sort of keeps you on your seat even in times where like things are relaxed. However, yeah. And I just feel that it sort of earns its name as a cult classic in this way for having a good story in that sense.
No, wait. I want to stop you right there. Okay, you guys keep saying this is a cult classic. Did it do good in theaters?
Well, obviously I was an infant when it came out, but
we could always use Google to see how Pulp Fiction did.
Right.
Okay, because when I think about
I've never said it's a cult classic.
Well, I mean, it has a cult following. I mean, anyone can tell you that, Pulp Fiction, along with a lot of Tarantino movies, are just sort of all very respected in the cinema community.
Okay, well then we have very different definitions of what cult classics are.
Cult classic tends to be something like The Room, which is terrible, did not do well, and still has a large amount of popularity behind it. Yeah.
Now, Jacob, let's pull in something good here. Let's pull in like something like Blade Runner.
I didn't know cult classics had to be like terrible movies that sort of give a new life by how hilariously terrible they were.
I don't necessarily think about terrible. I just think about something that like didn't do particularly well when it was first released, but then got a following later on. Like, I mean, it might be something that was like really bad that like people just love the badness of. But like I just pulled out the example earlier, like Blade Runner. I mean, I would consider that a cult classic because it didn't do well in theaters at all, but later on it became very famous.
Also, to your answer of how well exactly it did in theaters, it had a budget of $8.5 million and grossed $213 million in the box office. So you could say it was successful.
It was amazingly successful.
Not to mention we're still talking about it today. I mean, that's why we're.
I would also like to say that the feel of the movie with its how the movie feels it's dated, along with the freaking movie theatrical release poster, it makes it feel like it's not a movie from 1994.
Right.
It feels like, and I mean, I've never seen this movie, but I'm gonna watch it eventually just because I'm a movie buff. It feels like the non-linear storytelling of something like The Godfather because it's got a lot of crime stuff in it.
Yeah.
And, I mean, not to the extent of what like I've heard that Godfather is, but I mean just like the whole, or pick any crime drama out there you want.
Mm-hmm. I would have to agree with Jacob. It does seem to have aged well. I mean, granted, there aren't
aged well. It's only been out for almost only 21 years, and it feels older, and it's a good feeling of how it's older.
Well,
I feel like we should save this conversation for construction, if anything else, because that would have to fall within how it was filmed and everything. I never got to give my take on the story, so I'll do that now.
Oh, sorry about that, Jacob.
Pulp Fiction, with its story, with everything that goes into it, is, in my opinion, great. Because you have the story of the three different kind of people or groups in this movie. You have the people at the beginning, because I can't remember their name because I'm bad at remembering names.
I can put in their names here for you. Samuel Jackson's character's name.
No. That's not the character I'm talking about. In the beginning scene.
Sorry.
In the first scene.
Bunny and someone.
Honey Bunny and Pumpkin.
Yeah, those two. You have those two in the beginning, and it's their name for the movie. You've got their story. You have the story of Vincent Vega and Jules. And then you have the story of Bruce Willis's character, because it's not a character, it's Bruce Willis.
I actually have a question about Bruce Willis's character in this whole thing, and we see him first, and he's discussing I don't even remember what they were talking about, but it was he's a boxer, right?
Yes.
Yeah, he's a boxer.
Okay. And he was discussing something with Marcellus Wallace about making a deal or something like that. And then later on,
He had to throw a fight.
Yeah. So I mean, why is Marcellus Wallace trying to kill him later? That was
Because he didn't
question.
throw the fight. He won.
Oh, okay. So he was supposed to lose.
He was supposed to lose. That's what throwing a fight is,
Okay.
Zach.
Okay. Well, no, I'm sorry. It's just it's a dense movie. And
He's
I've
gonna
only seen
take
it
the
twice.
boxing ring and throw it. That's what throwing a fight means.
Yeah, that's
I
absolutely.
know that. I knew he meant throwing the towel, but I mean,
Yeah.
I didn't understand why they wanted to kill him after that. But
Because he didn't throw it, and that
yes.
caused Marcellus Wallace to lose a metric butt ton of money. So you've got the story of the three different groups, and Marcellus Wallace falls into all three of the stories aside from Pumpkin and Honey Bunny. But everything is done very well. You've got the different segments, such as the opening scene, which is at the end of the movie, which isn't the end of the movie because Vincent Vega is still alive. Well, technically, the last part of the movie is, chronologically, the last part of the movie is when Vincent Vega dies, pretty much.
Yeah. That's the whole, and then we get the interesting scene that follows with Marcellus Wallace and, what's Bruce Willis's character's name?
It's just Bruce Willis. We might as well.
Right.
Bruce Willis is Bruce Willis in every movie he's in.
Yes, he probably is.
Can you tell I don't have a huge love of Bruce Willis?
Well, yes, I can tell, and I mean that's fine. I mean, I don't particularly love
the only movie Bruce Willis isn't Bruce Willis in is The Sixth Sense, in which he's an actual character instead of Bruce Willis.
So I have to open up a can of whoop ass.
Yeah.
Tasty whoop ass.
So you've got all those stories, and the nonlinear storytelling, as we've praised up and down and all around, is amazing. And the story within the scenes themselves, such as the scene where Vincent and Jules go to get the briefcase in the first scene, and then Vincent's struggle to not try to sleep with Mia, and just all of those scenes are amazing. And you get a good crime drama with excellent dialogue, and it moves along great. And you see characters change throughout the movie. Like Vincent gets just kind of darker, more into the gang, and while Jules kind of steps away from everything, evolves to want to be a better person instead of staying where he is, wanting to quit after Vincent shoots Marvin in the face. Or before Marvin gets shot in the face. And then definitely after. Because, Marvin gets shot in the face.
There's one thing I was going to bring up. Oh, yeah, Mia, this whole, John Travolta and Mia thing. Sorry, his name's Vincent, my bad.
Vincent Vega.
Vincent Vega. What did you think? Did you think he was trying to sleep with her? Is that what you got? Because I kind of just got that she was more trying to sleep with him.
That's what I would sort of think. I mean...
He wanted to. He was convincing himself not to.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
okay.
From the way I took it is that she's naturally very flirty, and understandably he is very fearful of Marcellus Wallace, who's obviously Kingpin and will probably murder you in your sleep. So I believe he was just trying to I mean, I don't think if Mia was allowed to her own devices he would sleep with Vincent, but still he didn't want to take any chances.
Well, remember, he did throw a guy off a roof because he gave her a foot massage.
Right, except he was commissioned by Marcellus Wallace to take her out and have a nice time.
Yeah.
It is John
also,
Travolta,
I just want to point out that the girl playing his Marcellus Wallace's wife, Mia, right? That's her name?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm not really good with names.
Uma Thurman.
You can pull up the Wikipedia page if you want.
Guys. Okay, alright, I'm going to burst your bubbles here.
Okay.
She is Poison Ivy in Batman and Robin.
I don't have anything to break.
You just break my soul.
I mean, I think didn't she, and I'm not positive, didn't she win an Oscar for this performance?
I believe so.
And she goes from this to the performance in Batman and Robin.
Well, there was probably something in between. There had to be something in between.
Well, I'm sure there was, but, I mean, when I think of Uma Thurman, well, I guess she did do Kill Bill. Wasn't she Kill Bill?
Yes.
Was that before or after?
She was in Kill Bill. It was before Batman and Robin.
Okay, well, never mind. But yeah, it floors me. Truly, it does. Because you look at her in here, and then Batman and Robin, and it's like, oh my god, what happened?
Beautiful Girls, Truth About Cat and Dogs, Gattaca. Kill Bill was a vengeance movie.
Yes,
it was a B movie send off,
right,
and a very good one. Anyway, so back to the actual. All I'm trying to say is that Pulp Fiction is a very good movie, story-wise.
I don't know for how much more we're going to talk about story, but
I feel like we can move on.
Well, I wanted to tackle one thing before we moved on. The briefcase.
Yeah, there's been a lot of speculation what's in the briefcase.
Yeah, and I think me and Jacob share the same opinion on what's in the briefcase. So we got this. I mean, for those who haven't seen the movie, why are you listening to us? If you
Spoiler alert! Just
it's only a movie from 21 years ago.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, but so there's a briefcase that the characters of Jules, played by Samuel Jackson, and Vincent and played by John Travolta, have to get, because I guess the guys they were getting it from cheated Marcellus Wallace somehow. I didn't really understand that.
Yeah,
but,
Brett.
So obviously they open the briefcase multiple times, but you never see it. You just see this kind of golden glow.
Yeah.
And Quentin Tarantino himself has come out and said, what's in the briefcase, and he just basically said it's whatever you want it to be. Now, my theory is, and I believe I share this theory with you, Jacob, is that it's Marcellus Wallace, the Kingpin's soul.
I have heard the same theory as well. Yes.
That he sold to the devil and is trying to get it back or something.
My actual favorite theory is the theory that connects Pulp Fiction to King Arthur. So it's the Holy Grail.
The Holy Grail?
It's the Holy Grail.
I've heard that one. Another one that I kind of like, just because I think it fits the character of Marcellus Wallace, is that it's an Oscar statue for his wife.
Ving Rhames getting an Oscar.
No. He was getting it for his wife because they have that
Uma Thurman
thing at the beginning because she was in a pilot and never
don't get an Oscar for those.
We know
but
nothing.
My point is that he was getting it for his wife to make her feel special because her acting career never took off.
Well, to be fair, I feel like she was fairly content as sort of a housewife of a kingpin. She mentions her acting career, but she doesn't reminisce all the time about it.
Oh no, it's just a theory.
Right.
She seems more happy making faces throughout the entire movie, and then trying to OD.
Well, to be fair, doesn't she snort the heroin, accidentally think it's cocaine, and takes way too much?
Yeah, I believe it is. And then they take her to that drug dealer's house.
Right. But anywho, shall we move on from story?
Yeah, sure, we can do that.
Okay, so we're going to review the construction of the movie, the editing, direction, cinematography, acting, all those things that go into making a movie a movie.
As far as the editing goes, I didn't really notice any cardinal sins. When it comes to the editing, it all seemed quite fine. I feel like, especially most of the action shots, because when you have something with violence and intense situations like this, you want to make sure you have the right angle and right sort of shot constructed for when intensity's up most. Apologize. And I feel like he pulled that off quite well. I mean, it's very well known that Quentin Tarantino is very good at action cinematography, and I think living proof of that, I know we're getting off tangents, is Django Unchained. They seem to do a very good job of just sort of constructing shots very well throughout the whole movie.
Don't you understand? That movie is terrible because it's racist.
Oh my god, yeah.
Oh, yes. I mean, that's one thing I do appreciate about Tarantino is that he's willing to go there in
definitely
ways that other directors wouldn't be. Django Unchained. I think it's it showed the brutality of slaves, but I don't feel like it showed not all slave masters were dicks to their.
Well,
hashtag not all slave masters.
It was, well, to be fair, it's not meant to be a realistic simulation of what slavery. It's basically a spaghetti western involving southern slavery near the Civil War. But in a way, I feel like Quentin Tarantino does a very good job. There's a reason why Spike Lee hates Quentin Tarantino, and for many reasons you see in Pulp Fiction and Django Unchained.
And how about Inglourious Basterds is a good example of him going where a lot of people wouldn't, making a World War II comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and changing up Civil War. Sorry, I'm still thinking of Django and change.
Also,
changing up
the editor for the movie was Sally Menke. So
Yeah.
Should I correct?
Is she very? I mean, is she known for anything else? Or
Sally Menke, and the cinematography was by Andrzej Sekula.
well, I mean, you guys didn't give your take on
The editing.
on the editing and stuff.
Okay, Zach,
Oh.
you go because I have some stuff to say about the editing.
Sorry. I don't really have anything to say about the editing. I mean, I think it was edited well, but I'm not really that kind of person who knows how great things are edited together and stuff. I mean, unless we want to say like, some of the tracking shots were editing. I mean, I thought
Right.
That's cinematography, friend.
Right.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Well, I mean,
my bad.
That's cinematography. In that case, I guess I will stake my claim onto this review's editing portion.
Yes, sir.
The editing, for the most part, was amazing. You don't ever get to see what's in the thing, and in that matter, it's a good thing. Except for one scene. One.
Yes.
And that is the scene in which Jules and Vincent are shot at in the apartment.
You actually get to see what's inside the briefcase.
No.
Oh.
There is one problem with that scene.
What's
What's
that?
wrong with
When
it?
they get shot at.
Yeah, and that is.
This is going to be something to do with the cinematography as well. The bullet holes are in the wall before they get shot.
Oh, I see. So like sort of like a cinema mistake, like editing
Oh.
mistake. Okay.
Some cinema
I've actually
sins
never
would be
noticed
like,
that before. I'd have to go back and rewatch it.
Something
I
cinema
noticed-
sins would call
I think
out.
I noticed it because Cracked pointed it out, but I don't
Yeah.
remember who exactly kind of put that in my head. But they're there. All right, moving on to the direction of the movie, and I'm just going to put mine first because all I'm going to do is drill over Quentin Tarantino. Quentin Tarantino is a genius, that is all I will have to say, because I love Quentin Tarantino too much, and as such, my opinion is absolutely 100% biased, seeing as I have modeled everything I've tried to do, writing-wise, after him. Carry on, somebody else try now.
So we're talking about the acting or
Direction.
I feel like, I mean, I don't really have anything to say much about the direction other than, it's good. Yeah, I feel like it was pretty good to like to sort of be in the same way as like a crime novel or,
It was
sort
meant
of
to
like
be
highlighting
Pulp
gang
Fiction.
violence. Yeah, it does what the title says. It is
And then-
literally truth in advertising. So
Didn't
thank
you
you.
see the dictionary word at the beginning? It told us what a pulp was.
Pulp is a substance that has been grinded and liquefied. Anyway, Zach, your thoughts on the direction?
Okay, well, I'm a guy who enjoys a camera movement. Okay,
That's
and
not. You're talking about cinematography. We're talking.
damn
about
it, sorry, I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
When we say direction, we don't mean the direction the camera's pointed in.
Okay, sorry, my bad. I'm just showing my hand here that I want to get to some stuff. Yeah, the direction's good. I mean, it's Tarantino. I mean, it's expected to be good. If we got like kind of meh direction, it would be kind of
It would be a travesty.
yeah, it would be a travesty because
Because
I mean, it's fucking Tarantino. I mean,
Yeah.
So I guess we'll move on to cinematography then.
Okay.
thank you.
All
I'd like
right,
to start
Zach, you've
this one.
been wanting to talk all day, so Mike, you go ahead.
Okay.
Screw you, man.
The cinematography, and I'm going to draw this out as much as I can. The cinematography
mine.
is
Is
very feel.
How does it make you feel?
It makes me feel good. Like honestly, like maybe sort of the way it's shot and the way, like I guess maybe I see movies as more of an experience. The way the story and the way the timing makes me feel is a very important part, and it makes me feel good. Anyway, Jacob.
I feel the cinematography was very well done from top to bottom. Again, that's just I'm drooling over Tarantino movies. It happens. I love the cinematography in every one of his movies. Okay,
Yes.
Aside from that, the
Um,
movie was shot well. It was shot beautifully. Okay,
Yeah.
Zach.
sorry. Okay, and you
It's-
guys have been screwing with me. this
Especially no Doug Nguyen's Birdemic. It's good.
Anyway, cinematography. Okay, I love the cinematography in this movie. This is like cinematography like 101, and they moved even past 101 to give you like, I mean, this is what every film should be shot like, you know, like, I mean, there are just awesome like shots. Like, I don't know if you saw that Michael Keaton movie that came out, but like,
you mean
it was just like,
do you mean Birdman?
yes, that one.
Okay.
It was just like one continuous shot for the whole thing. In this movie, there's like continuous shots where we just follow Bruce Willis, where he's walking from, you know, like his car to an apartment. It's just like all one shot until he gets in.
All right.
Also, that continuous shot thing is actually really, really hard to pull off and make it good.
Yeah.
Because a big rule in writing is actually, is this the most interesting thing that you can have your character be doing right now? If no,
Absolutely.
then why are you showing it? A good example of a movie doing that really badly is Birdemic.
Yeah.
Haven't seen it.
Because you see the character do everything. You see him drive for like half an hour.
You see him get gas. You see him make a sales call at work, and we are not kidding.
Is this life or something? This was what this sounds
It's
like.
Birdemic.
It's a movie.
Do we have to do that at some point?
Yes.
Okay.
So let's move on to writing.
Okay. I feel like I actually have something to say here. I mean, other than it's good. I feel like the lines are very well constructed. The writing is done in sort of way where I actually do feel sympathetic about the two main mobsters, Jules and Vincent. They are very well developed. Honey Bunny and what's his face, not so well, but yet again they have very little screen time, so I really can't put them to blame. And overall, I feel like all the characters, even Bruce Willis, just being Bruce Willis, are very relatable and very easy to follow and just very enjoyable to hear and listen to.
Now this watch,
Oh, yeah.
put up my ass.
And Christopher Walken is amazing as well.
We'll talk about that in the acting.
I felt
section.
that like I mean I feel like the comedic interlude to like tell of Bruce Willis telling or Christopher Walken telling young Bruce Willis to about how he used not to watch up his ass is kind of out of place, but at the same time it's still hilarious and still well welcomed.
Yeah.
Well, the whole out of place thing, is how I would describe just about every Tarantino movie I've seen, because there is a lot of out of place stuff. But
Right, but that specifically was out of place in the context of Pulp Fiction.
okay.
Hitler got blown up, shot to tiny little pieces in a theater that was on fire by a bunch of Jews.
Yes.
I don't think that there is anything more out of place in history than that.
Because that actually happened.
Totally.
Yes, it did. I
Yeah.
believe that was how Hitler.
That's how Hitler died.
Yeah.
It was a big conspiracy, guys.
Okay, so Zach, do you have anything to say about the writing?
Tinfoil helmets.
There's not much I can say about the writing other than what I've already said. I mean, I think this movie, like, again, it surpasses beyond, any good script, like, especially with the non-linear storytelling. I mean, the only other movie I can think of that was, like, this good at, like, non-linear storytelling was probably, and I'm forgetting the name of it right now.
Also, Cuckoo Clocks.
Oh, yes, Christopher Nolan's Memento.
Stop insulting me. But, so, Zach, did you finish up?
Yeah, I finished.
Okay, so let me address something before I go on my tangent. Nonlinear storytelling in movies, you can legitimately... That's more of an editing thing for me, I feel. Simply because you can film the movie in order and then take it in editing, put it out of order, and as long as you kind of bookend it, it's okay. I'm not saying that as a writing thing, if anything.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
I mean,
Now, for me, for the writing, I don't know what the language level should be like for this podcast, but I've already dropped the F-bomb and said damn it like 16.
it's
Yeah,
okay.
fine.
It's YouTube. I mean,
That's
if
fine.
people insult
Fair enough.
us, they suck.
So the writing is fucking glorious.
It is.
Here's
it
the
is,
thing.
It truly is.
Here's the thing. I am very heavy on dialogue. In all of my videos, I try as hard as I can to make dialogue good. The thing, even in my most recent video, which isn't even out yet, that
Right.
kind of dialogue that Mike and Joey have is how they really talk usually.
You're very
Like-
human. In
Yeah.
dialogue.
It's very human, and I like human dialogue, which is why I love Tarantino movies. And this is just the best example of good dialogue in movies. It is flat out. It's just so good. The characters have conversations.
I think if I can butt in, I feel like my favorite part of dialogue is when Samuel, I need to start calling him Jules, does the Bible verse. It's really sort of ominous and just sort of really sets the mood for how they go about doing business.
By the way, that is not actually in the Bible.
Really, that verse?
Some of it is accurate, but the rest of it is from the script, which is the actor's Bible. Put it out there. But yes, my favorite piece of dialogue comes from when they're in the car before they even get there. Just because they're
talking about
they're shooting shit.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like that was a good thing to just sort of humanize them, and they're just not some lifeless killing machines. They're real people.
Yeah, they're not two-dimensional characters.
Especially when Jules talks about quitting and doing something else.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm a pop culture kind of guy. I really like the explanation. When they were talking about the pilot TV show, and they were explaining what a pilot is. I don't know. I thought that was handled very well.
It was.
I mean, to be fair, you could actually have that conversation with someone.
You could.
Exactly.
Very easily.
I believe Jacob and me have many conversations like this.
We do.
Yeah.
Way too many. But yeah, the writing is, oh man, if I could have a signed copy of that script by Tarantino, I could die a happy man.
Dude, I would fight you for that script.
You wouldn't be able to fight me for that script because I would shoot you in the face.
He would keep it in a locked vault. All right, so
We're
shall
sorry,
we?
editor.
Hey,
let's move on to acting.
Kiss my feet. All right. Zach,
how appropriate for talking about a Tarantino movie.
Acting?
No.
Yes, well, I'm going to start us off here with the acting. Obviously, Samuel motherfucking Jackson is obviously as good as ever. I think Sam Jackson works best when he's in a Tarantino movie.
Right.
Just because I think his attitude fits. Or if you see other Samuel Jackson movies, he's doing his Sam Jackson thing.
Listen. You obviously haven't seen Snakes on a Plane, so do not talk about.
I am tired of these motherfucking snakes.
The only thing I know about Snakes on a Plane is that line. So
although to be fair, in all seriousness, when I think of Samuel L. Jackson, I do think of Pulp Fiction.
Well, yes, I do too. I think one of two things actually. I think the Die Hard movie he did with Bruce Willis, which I know that's not as good, and I think Pulp Fiction. I never think Star Wars or Marvel. Anyway, so yes, I already said my bit about Sam Jackson. Next up, John Travolta. Here's a man who I don't think ever got any better or ever got. Well, I guess he could have gone worse. There was Battlefield.
Man, you are so harsh on freaking man.
Well, just John Travolta was in the pits in his career, okay, and
then he found Scientology.
Because of this movie, he actually, I think, got to work again. Okay, had Quentin Tarantino never asked him to be a part of this, or whoever the casting director for this was.
Ooh, I have an interesting story when it's my turn.
Okay, he probably wouldn't have gotten out of where he was, and he wouldn't have done such classics like Face Off.
I
want to take his face off.
Yes. And then I've already kind of said my piece about Uma Thurman, but then again, it still just floors me how this woman does Pulp Fiction and then can do Batman and Robin. I don't understand it. Bruce Willis, yeah, he plays Bruce Willis. And you either go with it or you don't go with it. Okay, I enjoy Bruce Willis. Okay, I think he's great in Die Hard. I think he's good in this, and I think he was good in the Shyamalan movie that he did with Samuel L. Jackson. What was that one called? It's the one where they're like Samuel L. Jackson is the villain and he's the hero or something like that.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay, well, I'll look it up and maybe we can review it someday.
All right. So you want me to give my bits on the acting?
Just one more thing. Ben Rames plays Marcellus Wallace, and I think he does a great job at playing a kind of, mobster that's, really scary and stuff. And, he kind of reminds me of like a smaller version of Michael Clark Duncan or something. That's all I
Just
have
saying,
to say.
he hadn't done anything really good since, or not Bing Rames, John Travolta hadn't done anything good since Grease, and Grease is a terrible movie in the first place.
Yeah.
What was that one movie where he sang the Staying Alive song?
Don't.
Boogie
Saturday Night Lights.
Oh.
No, Saturday Night
Or
Fever.
Saturday Night Fever.
And that was before Grease.
Oh, it was? Okay.
And then
Alright.
he did Grease, and it was terrible, and he didn't do anything good until Pulp Fiction, because before Pulp Fiction, do you want to know who he was in? Do you want to know who he was in?
What?
Look Who's Talking Now. Or Look Who's Talking, and then Look Who's Talking Too. Shout, Eyes of an Angel, Chains of Gold, Boris and Natasha, the movie, Look Who's Talking Now, and then Pulp Fiction. And then
I
he
have
did get
no
Shorty,
idea
White
what-
Man's Burden, Michael, Phenomenon, Orientation, a Scientologist information film, Broken Arrow, Off the Menu,
Oof.
Mad City, Face, Off, She's So Lovely, A Civil Action, Junket Horror, Primary Colors, The General's Daughter, Our Friend Martin, which was an amazing movie, Battlefield Earth.
Battlefield Earth.
The Scientologist Wet Dream movie.
Okay, Michael, your turn.
All right, so I feel interesting story. You were talking about Quentin Tarantino giving John Travolta a shot.
in that movie. Tarantino was in it.
Interesting thing.
Oh,
Samuel.
yeah.
Tarantino was in Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, we forgot to mention that. Sorry. You can talk about that, and then we can play off.
All right. So anyway, as I was saying, interesting story. Samuel L. Jackson recently went on to Jimmy Fallon, I believe it was, and he was actually telling about when Quentin Tarantino was first starting production for Pulp Fiction. Quentin Tarantino actually wrote the role of Jules for Samuel L. Jackson, so they could make the character as natural as humanly possible. But anyway, Samuel L. Jackson's acting career, or acting, is good. John, the Lord Xenu Travolta, I feel like he does a good job. He does a good job in this movie. Uma Thurman, I can't really complain. I mean, it's good acting, but leaves something to be desired for, but otherwise good. Bruce, the action hero Willis, is pretty good. And all the rest of them, especially Tim Roth and Amanda Plummer, who play Ringo and Honey Bunny, they're all good as well.
Yes.
All right.
I mean, we should probably tackle the one last actor that we have left out, and I feel so sorry for leaving the director out of his own movie. But yes, Tarantino is in this film.
Yeah.
He's a bad motherfucker.
Oh, his scene though is great though, dude. I mean, after they do the whole, what's the guy's name whose head they blow off?
Martin.
Yeah. Marvin.
And then they call in who is the I can't think of his name at this.
Hold on. I have the list up in here.
It's the
the
guy
Wolf.
who plays the
Wolf.
Yeah. Who plays him?
Harvey
What's his name?
Harvey Keitel.
Harvey Keitel.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, he's good too. The way he's just so in control and never freaks out, even though we got a dead body. And
Yeah.
I'll be damned, they really make that car look new by the end.
They develop his character quick. Like, he is the experienced gangster who's seen some shit.
Yeah.
So am I allowed to talk?
Yes.
Yes. Go ahead. Sorry, Jacob.
So, Samuel L. Jackson is obviously an amazing actor, and his work in Pulp Fiction is astonishingly amazing, and his character arcs well, and da-da-da-da-da. John Travolta, since we're still bullying him, John Travolta is Gummy Bear, the voice of Gummy Bear in Gummy Bear the Movie 3D.
God damn it.
What?
I would like to say that John Travolta, John Lord Xenu is my boyfriend, Travolta, is the voice of Gummy Bear in Gummy Bear the Movie 3D.
Okay.
And somebody
The rent was.
in this
Hey, guys, come on. The rent was due. He had to do something. Okay.
Somebody in this Skype call said that he was in the pits of his career right before Pulp Fiction. No. He is the voice of Gummy Bear. Gummy Bear the Movie 3D
All right.
set to come out in 2015.
I'm making a declaration.
Jacob,
That's going to be our
Jacob.
next review. I'm making a decree. That's going to be our next review.
Dynapit. Everyone else is good. I don't really give a shit about everyone else, to be honest.
Yeah, I think we've hit this dead horse.
Effects, I suppose. And this movie was mostly special effects. As in camera. Let's give a quick rundown for the folks at home who don't know their shit. Visual effects is done in post. Anything that you do in After Effects or Blender is all visual effects.
Yes.
Special effects are anything that are done in camera, such as blood splatter with a vacuum hose thing. And, actually good effects that don't have to be made by computer animation and thus aren't a waste of time.
This movie
Interstellar was an amazing movie.
I believe that had mostly practical effects.
Yes.
Now, this movie doesn't go like too over the top. I mean, it tries to be realistic when it comes to the violence, and I feel like the few times, like, you know, with the blood and gore splatter on the back windshield, and, you know, sort of the bullet holes and walls, I feel like that was all very done nicely.
Did you see the Marvin scene? That was pretty over the top.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was over the top, but I mean,
no, it wasn't. He shot Marvin in the face.
Yeah.
Well, I
guess not watch the same movie.
I guess a hurt person's head would splatter like if they got shot.
Well, no, it wouldn't. Yeah. Not on. Well, actually, at that close of range, maybe.
But in short, no cardinal sins committed when it comes to the special effects. I feel like it was all orchestrated nicely. You know, whenever like it doesn't catch your eye, whenever like something just works and just sort of feels natural without having to point it out, you know you've done it right.
Just as far as the special effects in this movie, I believe there's no CGI, as you pointed out.
I don't believe so. There's really no
There
need.
was I mean, this is 1994. I mean, there weren't a whole lot of CGI things besides, I mean, you know, the dinosaurs in Jurassic Park and, like, you know, the T-1000 in Terminator 2.
And Tron.
Well, that's...
You're speaking a lot of older films.
Yeah. And Toy Story. And Avatar. And Grease.
Dino.
Did you say Grease?
Yes.
Are you talking about the John Travolta Grease?
And the Marx Brothers.
Anyway.
And radio dramas. All right.
I'm just going to say, my point is, CGI is not what it is today as it was in 1994. I mean, that was like, and plus, Tarantino is an indie director at this point. He's not a Hollywood director. Now, maybe if Pulp Fiction was Hollywood...
Did you just say that a movie with an $8.5 million budget was an indie movie?
I would say that's an indie movie, but...
No. Clerks was an indie movie, and that was made with $25,000.
Yeah. And also, to be fair, like, CGI in 1994 wasn't as good as CGI today, but you have to keep in mind, 1 year after this came out, Toy Story came out. So CGI did have some prominence.
After that, The Matrix.
Yeah, so CGI had some prominence, but again, no need in a movie like this.
Yes, my point, I guess I wasn't trying to say this is an indie movie. I'm saying Tarantino was an indie director, is what I'm trying to say. I mean, I don't know if you ever saw Reservoir Dogs, but, I mean, that movie is very...
Stuck in the middle with you. By the way, Vincent Vega's brother is in Reservoir Dogs.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. So this is like the sequel to Reservoir Dogs.
No, it's not.
Oh, okay.
In fact, do you want to know the reason why Vincent Vega is even in the movie? John Travolta tried out for the role of Jules, and Tarantino liked him, but Jules was already cast. So they made another character.
You don't give it up a role to Samuel Jackson. He will fuck you up, man.
So yeah, are you done with your practical effects stuff?
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay, practical effects are amazing, and the most practical effects in this movie are amazing. And although you don't need that many in this movie, they are amazing, and they use a lot of techniques that are very good, and it's amazing, unlike The Matrix Reloaded. Okay, so I think we're done with construction, so let's just give our overall taste on this movie.
I'll just go on ahead and go first. I'm going to give Pulp Fiction a 10 out of 10. I think it is a perfect movie, and if anybody wants to have a career in movie making, I think this is like one of the ones they must watch if they want to see what good directing is, what good storytelling is, what good acting is, just good things in general. So yeah, 10 out of 10.
I'm going to have to agree with you on the most part. It's interesting the way it makes you feel. It's gritty, it's seedy, it's lowbrow, but it's artsy in a way. And for that, I would give it a 9.5 out of 10. I feel it is a very good movie, and definitely has rewatchability for many years to come.
All right, so I'm going to give this a 9 out of 10, simply because I don't believe there's such thing as a perfect movie. It doesn't do everything right. Let's admit it. It does not do everything right. And a 9 out of 10 from me is a compliment. I will just put that out there.
Okay. I forget it's you talking.
I don't believe in a perfect movie. I don't think this is a perfect movie, but it is a very, very good movie. It has its mistakes. It really does have its flaws, and you have to admit that. But for the most part, it is an amazing movie, and I will love it for eons to come. So overall, that gives us a 10, a 9.5, and a 9, with me giving the movie its lowest rating, and I'm the one who is pretty much sucking Tarantino's dick the entire review.
Overall, the Spastic Nerd reviewers give it a 9.5 out of 10.
Yeah!
Yes! So I think next order of business, obviously, as we have hinted at, it's not going to be just us three talking all the time.
Right. We actually did have one other person who was going to come on with us tonight, but sadly she couldn't make it. But in the future, look forward to us three and possibly others joining as we go along. We hope to have yes,
at some point.
But seeing as how we are the original 4 hosts, we got to pick what comes first in our next movie reviews.
Yes. So actually, speaking of which, Zach, do you want to announce which movie we are reviewing next?
Well, I can't not announce that because Jacob has not told me what we are doing next.
Jacob, would you like to announce what we are reviewing next?
The next movie that we will be reviewing will be some anime bullshit that I have to pick out from my shelf.
Awesome.
So look forward to that.
You'll have to give us a copy of it.
No, it's fine.
Okay. Okay, well, since Jacob wants to give us the mystery anime, then I will go on ahead. Next would be my decision, and I'm going to do one that is one of my favorite trilogies. Now, I know that's kind of splitting hairs because I actually hate the third movie. Showing my hand a little too much there. We're going to do the Matrix trilogy, including the Animatrix, which I had no idea even existed. But I look forward to seeing it.
It's really awesome.
Yes. And then from my end, one thing I said that we should review is the original Planet of the Apes trilogy. And when I mean original, I don't mean the ones that have come out recently. I'm talking about the 5 original 1970s movies.
Okay, and totally not Rise of the Revenge of the Planet of the maybe Apes.
I'm just going to correct you there. You said the original trilogy of Planet of the Apes.
The quintilogy, the original saga.
Original saga. Whatever you kids call it these days.
We might do the new ones, and I mean, are we including the Tim Burton apes in there, or no?
There's a Tim Burton apes?
Yes, the one from 2001.
No.
Mark?
No.
Okay.
With Mark Wahlberg?
Okay, well, if we're going to do the newer ones, which I think we'll have to at some point, we're going to have to do that one. I'm sorry, there's no skewering past it, okay? This is the rules for my podcast.
And Shauna had picked one out too. I don't remember what it is right now.
Was it the Bourne trilogy?
Oh yeah, it's the Bourne trilogy, I think.
Yes, although Shauna is not here, that's our 4th host's name for all of you in the know.
Yes.
She could not be here tonight, and we are deeply sorry that she couldn't. But we'll just go on ahead and announce her series. She picked the Bourne trilogy, as well as the 4th film that many of you probably don't know exists, the Bourne Legacy. So we'll do that.
That one doesn't even have the satisfaction of Matt Damon in it.
All right, so do we want to announce anything further than that, or do you just want to leave it there?
I think we're pretty good on that. We can just kind of announce this stuff as we go along, and I mean, probably bring in more people as we go along, and I mean, you know.
All right, cool.
So, yeah, that's a wrap.
Sweet.
All right. See you next time on the Spastic Nerd Review.
And as always, thanks for watching.